Everyone, good morning. First and foremost, thank you for being here today as we kick off Juneteenth. Can I get a clap? Awesome. My name is Tanisha Morrison, and I have a lot of titles, but the two that are near and dear to me is the former Chief of Staff to Assemblymember Alicia Heineman, and the organizing chair of the Juneteenth in Queens Festival. This festival and week-long celebration was birthed out of the 2020 George Floyd uprisings. And I think it's timely that we're in front of Councilwoman Williams' office, who was leading the charge on the ground while Assemblymember Heineman led the charge in policy. So while we were creating a way to ensure that voices were heard on the streets, Assemblymember Heineman was also ensuring that voices were heard in the state of New York, and introduced the bill to make Juneteenth a state holiday in the state of New York. So just a round of applause for her. Awesome. So before I pass the mic to these awesome assembly members and elected officials behind me, I just wanted to give a brief education about what is happening this week with Juneteenth, because it is a labor of love from a lot of people here in front of me, and I think it's important that we get all of what's going to happen this week. So first and foremost, today at 6 p.m., today is June 13th at 6 p.m., we will be starting our virtual series. It was important for this team that has organized Juneteenth to not only educate about liberation, but also celebrate it, right? And ensure that that intersection that Black people always live in is near and dear and true to what we're doing for the week. So today is the beginning of the virtual series. It starts with Black integration in Queens and ends on Thursday, which is the 16th at 6, with a town hall on reparations, which we are really, really excited about. And then on Sunday, June 19th, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., we will be taking over Roy Wilkins Park and having an amazing community-based festival. I mean, people powered for real. So from your elected officials to your city agencies to the businesses across Queens, they've all poured into making this event happen and making it free for the community. So if you haven't registered yet, the website is Juneteenth, JUNETEENTH, in queens.com/register. And with that, I would love to pass the mic to Assemblywoman Alicia Heineman.
Thank you, Tanisha Morrison. So, events like this are important because we're talking about history. And Juneteenth, the reason why Tanisha told me about her idea, we entered the legislation passed. It was a little kerfuffle because the governor at the time wanted to take credit. And as we know, as people, our Black people particularly, we're always accustomed to white men taking credit. But I wouldn't let him take the credit. We pulled it back. He signed the bill into law and became a law in New York State. And now, as you know, it's a federal holiday. So let's be clear. It is not just a time to celebrate a day off. This is about history. This is about making sure that we realize the Emancipation Proclamation wasn't all that there is to free slaves. Lincoln only freed the slaves in the territories in the states that were seceding from the Union. This piece of history is not taught in our schools, but now it is, because kids are going to ask, what is Juneteenth? This is a time to educate. There is so much more that our children have to learn right now. I think my daughter was talking about the Great Migration. Let's talk about what the Great Migration really was. That's another thing I'm working on right now. The Great Migration wasn't so great. Blacks were fleeing, being massacred in the South, being lynched, property being taken away, ownership being taken away, and the Great Migration led them to the North for jobs, for less discrimination. There is so much about our history that is American history that is ignored. And I'm really, I have children, I'm able to educate them, but for me, the idea behind Juneteenth was educating the larger population about what our history is, how ingrained it is in American history, and the more we embrace it and realize, the better off our communities will be. I'm a true believer of that. So I want to thank Tanisha and the committee for all the work that they've done to make this Sunday special. My colleagues in government, my colleagues in the community for making sure that we can't do this alone. It takes all of us to lift up our communities. Every single person that you see behind me, there's a lot going on across the street right now, but it takes all of us to lift it up. Thank you for being an excellent steward of our history and moving the needle from the left to the right. It would not happen without you. And the dedicated individuals that are interspersed throughout all of this, and all the calls that are made and the money that is raised, because this is a labor of love for Queens. Queens, get the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Hyman. And with that, I am going to pass the mic to Assemblymember Khalil Anderson.
All right. I got my passport stamped. I'm here in Alicia Hyman's district, and I'm just so energized this morning because as we kick off a week of celebrating history for Juneteenth, we have to acknowledge that for hundreds of years, our folks have been enslaved, and we continue to be enslaved by the systems of government that continue to empower white supremacy. And so when we talk about Juneteenth as a celebration of liberation, we have to acknowledge that our minds are not truly liberated until we address the issues of mass incarceration. Our minds are not liberated until we address the issues of voting rights. Our communities are not liberated until we address the issues of food sovereignty. And I commend my colleague, Assemblywoman Hyman, because she paused and she took a moment to make sure that here in the state of New York, we recognize the importance of Juneteenth. She is the brainchild of this holiday and making sure that not only we get this recognized as a holiday statewide, but we get a day off and a day on in schools and all across our community so that we can take a pause like she did and study and acknowledge our history so that we can plan and strategize for our futures. So I'm so grateful for all of my colleagues who are here today. I'm so grateful for the amazing program that Tanisha put together this week. Come up here, Tanisha. Give her a round of applause, because it's always the staff that make us do the very, very important things that are critical in our neighborhood. And like my colleague Alicia Hyman said, it's a labor of love, but it's also a labor of investment in our people and our communities. So I thank you for continuing the effort to making sure that we have a Juneteenth week, an event where we're talking about the serious topics. I'm excited for Thursday about reparations. We're going to talk about the serious stuff, and that's the next step. That's the planning for our future, making sure that our communities are made whole by what white folks and white supremacy had done to us for decades and generations. So thank you guys so much, and let's continue to fight.
Thank you, Assemblymember Anderson. I'm too humble to take all the credit. I just want to make sure that before I pass the mic to the amazing everything, my sister over here who helped really birth this as well, that I acknowledge some of our sponsors who are here. So we have Marlon from the DA's office, from the Queens DA's office. We have Larry, who is the everything over at Lyft. Thank you so much. If you're looking to travel to Juneteenth in Queens, please use Lyft, LYFTJIQ 15 to get your 15% off of traveling to Roy Wilkins Park. Lyft JIQ 15. If you are looking to travel to Roy Wilkins, y'all know ain't no parking. If you don't know, now you know. Use that code. I promise you will regret it. I see Roz over here from the Human Rights Commission. Thank you so much for the help. And with that, I am going to pass this mic over to the amazing chair on Human Rights, Councilwoman Natasha Williams.
Assemblymember Anderson is too funny. Yeah, when I was thinking about what to say, the first thing that came to mind was Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everything black and everybody black. So that's just me. I'm always rooting for everything and everybody black. I always think it's important that we recognize and highlight our contributions, our continued struggles, and this is none other than that. One of the most beautiful things about Juneteenth in Queens is that it's Juneteenth in Queens. Inside the 27, that's my little hashtag. And that's beautiful. We have an amazing park, Roy Wilkins. that is often underutilized. And so not only did the Assemblywoman pass legislation to make this a holiday, but she also followed up with making this a beautiful event for all of us in Queens to come together, to be unified, and to again honor and celebrate all that is Black. And so I'm just thrilled to be a council member now and be able to support this event in bigger and better ways. And that's it. I'm done.
Thank you, council member. And yeah, if you didn't hear it before, I just want to always make sure we give credit where it's due. In 2020, I think it was the week after Juneteenth, we rallied from the Assemblywoman's office, so 232nd and Merrick, and marched all the way down to Roy Wilkins. And it was census time, and we wanted to make sure that everyone get counted, and that really helped birth this. And with that, I mean, who other than Big Queens himself, the borough president, Donovan Richards.
All right, my president is Black. Y'all know about that Nas song? All right. But good morning, Queens. Are we in the house? And first, let me thank my sister, Assemblymember Alicia Hyman, who really put in the elbow grease and work to make Juneteenth a holiday to celebrate, and of course, has a lot of meaning, especially coming through this pandemic, especially this year when we know many issues were exacerbated in our communities. But let me just say this weekend, Roy Wilkins is going to be the hottest spot in New York City. And that's, of course, because our Assemblywoman knows the importance of Black culture, and we're going to celebrate that Black history right here in Queens County. So if you don't know, now you know. Shouldn't be quoting Biggie Smalls in Queens. But Black history is American history, and you cannot tell us the story of this borough or this country without telling the story of Black experience. And few dates on the calendar carry more historical weight when it comes to both Black and American history than Juneteenth. On that day, we'll mark 157 years since the Union Army landed in Texas to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation. But Juneteenth is so much more than a date on the calendar. It's a day to reflect on all that we've endured and our ancestors endured as Black Americans. And I would not be here if it were not for them. We would not be here if it were not for them. It's a day to celebrate Black culture and that basic heritage we all share, whether you're African, Indo-Caribbean, or from anywhere else. And it's a day to reaffirm ourselves to the fight for true equality in every sense of the word, because as we've seen these last few years, there's still a literal and figurative knee on the necks of so many of us across this country. The festival at Roy Wilkins Park and all the programming our Assemblywoman has lined up throughout this week will mark Juneteenth in a tremendous way. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. It's going to be the party of the summer. But as we're enjoying our families and our communities this weekend, I just ask that even for a minute, we sit back and reflect on what Juneteenth means to us as individuals, what it means to us as a people. So let's enjoy ourselves to the fullest on Sunday. After the troubles of the past few years, we definitely deserve to have some fun. But on Monday, let's carry the torch that our ancestors passed to us, and let's continue down that path of progress they blazed for us. Let's remind our young people, like my own Black son, what a powerful force for change we can be when we all stand together as one community. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Look forward to seeing you all this week, and God bless you all. Thank you, Tanisha.
Thank you, BP. I don't even know what to say after that. It was getting real sermon-y. I was over there like, right, amen. Vanessa, you are speaking on behalf of Councilwoman Brooks Powers today. Awesome.
Stay ready, right? That's right. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here and to represent the 31st District on behalf of Majority Whip Councilwoman Sylvina Brooks Powers. I am honored to have worked with Tanisha during this process to support the efforts of Southeast Queens. We do so much. Our community represents so much in the legacy of Black people in this country, not only in this state, but in this country. And it is very important for us to continue getting and pushing out culture, showing the world, our community, our young people, how much culture is important, where we come from, who we come from, and what we need to continue to fight for. And the work of none other than the Assemblywoman Alicia Hyman. We appreciate her for all that she has done, as well as passing that torch and that fire, keeping that fire going with Tanisha and the rest of the members of government that have support this event. So I look forward to having so much fun. There's going to be amazing entertainment, as we have worked very hard to get the entertainment. Clearly that was my job, right, to support. So I want each and every one of you that are hearing this, that is hearing about this press conference, to please go tell a friend, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 friends about how amazing Sunday will be from 12 noon. So make sure you come and support our community. Southeast Queens is always on fire. Let's continue that fire.
Thank you. And before I just open it up to see if anybody has questions, I have to shamelessly plug all of our amazing sponsors of this event. So Elm Core Youth and Adult Activities, we have Leah here, thank you, who is also powering our virtual series. Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica, the Queens Public Library, the Voice of Youth Changes Everything Incorporated, the Commission on Human Rights, Roswell, I see you came back, the New York City Office of Media Entertainment, who amazingly got us Ralph McDaniels and Friends, the New York City Parks Department, who has been putting up with me, Lord Jesus, y'all don't know, the New York City Engagement Commission, Resort World and Casino, Port Authority, JFK Redevelopment, Lyft, Larry's still here, Black Spectrum Theater, Hot 97 WBLS, Life Camp, for all that you do. Thank you, Erica. Erica is also, Life Camp is sponsoring our party spa, which just means we're giving Black men massages for free. So please tell everybody to come out 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're doing massages for free. One sec, Asaf. CAGNY, the Korean American Association of Greater New York, for all of our ladies, they are giving away all the goodies, from Kiss to Feel Beauty to Eben, so your lashes, your blow dryers, your hair dryers, your curling irons, all free on Juneteenth. Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, thank you, Pat, for being here. Con Edison, EWG Glass and Recovery, American Recycling, Patrick Jenkins and Associates, 100 suits for 100 men's. Okay. And Queens 100 Strong, so thank you. We have a little baby parade, as Councilwoman Natasha Williams just called it, and we wanted to make sure that they got through. Hello, cuties.
I'm just guiding y'all through. Good, that's good. So we do it.
Because of something in front of you.
Give me 1 second. I was just asked to make sure I told y'all our performance lineup, so I want to make sure I do that. So our performance lineup, give me 1 second, y'all. Our elected's going to take some photos. All right. Okay, here is our performance lineup. So Ralph McDaniels and Friends. We have the Lost Boys, Jeff Fred, Mr. Cheeks, Intro and More. We have Genesis Dance. We have Devore Dance Setter. We have the amazing poet Nadia Renee, amazing rapper Chad Miner, Soup, Nevaeh Flowers, Cass Sinatra, Isaac Sawyer, rapper TGI Fly, the Rifleette Cheerleaders, Black Spectrum Theater doing what they do, in the Bartlett Brothers. Thank you again. Is there any questions? And Michael Pugh, who is doing our amazing choir intro for the, what is he doing, the Black National Anthem? Awesome, yes, thank you. Okay, as we wrap up here, does anybody have any questions, comments before we end? It is free. I mean, F-R-E-E, free. And I think you were in here when we mentioned our travel code, so I'll just say it one more time. LYFT, L-Y-F-T, J-I-Q 15 for 15% off. Hello, Mr. Brown. Awesome. Any other questions? Oh, great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending, and our amazing elected officials who came to give us some words, and see you on Sunday. Bye.